is episode 98. The DPMF crew are back with another fat one. Tonight's episode is all about RWAs. Sounds interesting. So stay tuned and listen up to some awesome nuggets that we've got for you tonight. Dan, fill us in with the fat markets.
Bitcoin's sitting at $91,424, which is flatlined on the 7-day. Ranked at number 2 is Ethereum, sitting at $3,137, up 3.37% on the 7-day. Ranked at number 3 is Tether. Our XRP is over the $2 mark at $2.08, but is down 5.18% on the 7-day. BNB is sitting at $904, so that's $904, pretty flat through the week. USDC is ranked at number 6. Ranked at number 7 is Solana, sitting at $135, which is down 1.25% on the 7-day. Ranked at number 8 is Tron at 28 cents, which is up 1.7% on the 7-day. Dogecoin is sitting at ranked at number 9, sitting at 14 cents, down 5.16% on the 7-day. And ranked at number 10 is ADA Cardano, sitting at 43 cents, which is up 1.5% on the 7-day.
Awesome.
There you go. Flew through them for you.
I know. Well, there's been a little bit of a movement, but it's still dead, isn't it? It's still dead. It's not good, is it?
It's quiet. I think there's not the same excitement there was in the bull run 2017, 2021.
I've got some interesting nuggets that might explain why it's so dead. And they're not great. They're not great, but anyway, tonight's show is brought to you by Fusion.io, the sickest and the baddest place to mint and sell your NFTs using any asset. Yes. So go check it out. Have a look. See what you think.
It is. Let me add to it. Because there'll be some people who are listening. So we have about to come on. So a few hours ago, the DPMF Labs team, some of the team leads assisted with the testing. We had a configuration I wanted to add from a couple of days ago. In about 6 hours, we're going to have that feature on. And that means that people will be able to create a collection of hundreds or thousands of NFTs, put them up for minting in any currency on the XRPL with a click of one button. And it will be open to the entire XRPL network. We'll be able to mint, and the issuer will maintain as the issuer. We do it in a permissionless way, so you do not need to speak to any developers or the platform to ask permission to do it. Everyone is open to do it, and every currency is available at your choosing. So you can mint a collection in any currency that you choose. So if you're a project or a meme coin, you can do it in that currency.
Which I don't think any other exchange does on the XRPL. Am I right with that or not?
So some have done it manually, where projects used to reach out for permission. We have built the permissionless feature to allow you to pick without talking to a single developer. And it's actually very easy. You'll see it when it comes on. So for anyone listening to the recording in the 6 hours plus, when it's on, you'll see on the Create NFT, there's a little button at the bottom that says Offer to Mint. You'll click that, and then you just select the currencies that you want to apply with, and you select the flags you want for all your NFTs, and it will do it to all of them. as well. And for those as well who don't, we allow adding manual metadata on NFTs, but it can be quite a lot if you've got thousands. But if you've got a collection where the metadata is pretty much mostly the same, when you add metadata on the first one, once you've saved it, you'll see there's a little copy button that appears next to where you've just applied metadata. You'll just see it appear. When you click that, it actually applies the metadata to every NFT of the collection. Exactly the same. That's properties and value. So yeah, really seamless way of creating NFTs in the manual method. Yeah.
Daniel, I have a question. How does this differ to something like the XRP Cafe, allowing for the content creators to also give the option for a buyer to mint on demand? Is that because that's only XRP and it runs differently as opposed to an all currency type mint?
Well, yeah, I know XRP Cafe, they did allow issued assets, or they called them IOUs at the time, IOUs for NFTs. But people used to contact them to allow permission to get on there. You don't need to contact anyone to do it. It's all in the menu when you go to create NFT. And on top of that, what's different as well is because you don't have to speak to anyone, you can pick any asset that you have in your trust line at the time of your wallet. So if you're a project, you could select your own native asset, and then later on you might want to do a collaboration with another project and you could mint in their asset. So it's open to 60,000 plus tokens at the moment. So if you were a big NFT collection creator, if you like, and wanted to do a load of collaborations, this is a really good way to do it. I've just realised as well, we're doing our all currency minting show on DPMF Live episode 100.
As I was just going to say, it's going to be episode 100. It's going to be, we're going to be doing a very special we're doing Christmas specials.
If I just give it away, was it not meant to say anything?
Yeah, that's meant to be a surprise.
I see.
Don't worry. Anyway, look, so I've got a Japanese nugget, I've got a Chinese nugget, I've got an XRP nugget, and I've got a Hong Kong nugget.
Oh, you can't. Oh, it's like a nugget crossover. This.
I know.
A concoction
which one
of
do you
nuggets
fancy first? What you take? Magic Mike, you take a pick.
All
Which
right,
one do you want?
all right.
Hong Kong, Japan, or China? Or an XRP?
Give us Hong Kong. Give us Hong Kong.
Right. Okay. XRP. Apparently, now don't hold me to account, but this is all according to the world of X and the amazing information that you can pull off X. I've been trawling the atmosphere for all sorts of information tonight, but apparently XRP is being listed on OSL, which is Hong Kong's exchange, which means traders from the Chinese area can use Hong Kong's exchange, believe it or not. So that might be something that is quite bullish, really, but we need a little bit of bullishness, really, but I don't think it's really going to affect things too much. That's me Hong Kong nugget. So,
but do you know much about ETFs?
No, not really. I'm not really bothered about ETFs.
So when a cryptocurrency launches as an ETF, it obviously means that clients, customers can come on and choose to. They can use the broker to spot trade it, so they can go long or short. So you could short the market without owning any of the asset. And it's one of the reasons why I personally didn't want. I have no control over it, but if I had a choice, I wouldn't want cryptocurrency to go in on there because it adds an element of control, like on the stock market. So now, like when Bitcoin, it first went as an ETF, it means that people can short it without owning it. So there is an element of control there. And when XRP was next up, although it is good for adoption and good for, expanding users getting involved, it does mean that people with big money can short it. And funnily enough, since XRP has been getting all these ETF listings, it has been shorted quite heavily. but later on it will go long. But it's an area of trade I've never really been keen on. I was a daily funded. I done contract trading, daily funded trades, and contract funded trades, contract difference, and yeah, I've just never liked it, and I really didn't think cryptocurrency needed to go that way. And now it has. I don't think it's a benefit at the moment. It will come on later, but I would have preferred not to.
I 100% agree with you, because there is nothing like holding the asset yourself in your own wallet, and that's what I don't get the ETF business. It's not really my bag. Never has been.
It's good for, a bit of exposure, but overall, once you've got that asset on there and brokers start, shorting and longing it, you go into the trading game, and like the equities market, it all generally moves the same. It's going to be the same with crypto now. It's just aligned it a little bit more that way. I think it would have been better if we kept the blockchain or blockchains in its own ecosystem and didn't tie too much with traditional finance. But that's the way it's going with mainnet currencies. Are we going to be able to expand out of that and pull value from the equities market, from the indices like the FTSE, the S&P 500? Will they switch gold and oil into crypto? Likely, at some point. And it's going to be there with the brokers, but preferably I would have liked to keep it separate.
I have a question for you, Daniel, about the ETFs. If you, let's say the DPMF doesn't want, let's say, an ETF of its native currency, the XDX, is there something that you can do to prevent an ETF from happening?
No, if I was going to list XDX as an ETF, I would make sure that I had certain protocols in place related to the XD projects that would support us going on there as an ETF and support us expanding internally. And I'm actually talking about XD2. So yeah, I would go for the ETF. Yeah, but there would be certain things I'd have online which would be supportive for us in relation to them assets going on a broker.
Right, but what if you didn't want to go on the ETF? Is there something the DPMF can do about it, or no? Because
for about 7 years, I've thought about. I don't know if you know much about broker exchanges, but there's a high loss rate on them. A lot of people do fail on them. It's like 80% on average fail rate. So you generally get like a cycle of new traders every year. Like people who come out of school, college, university, they'll do a year of trading, usually muck it up, and then they'll never come back. And then there'll be some who carry on, and then there'll be some who prevail, if you like, after years of losing money. But I thought about doing some sort of broker years ago. About 7 years ago, I started designing one. And in truth, the only way you can win as a broker is everyone has to lose. And you kind of see it when you see certain trades go on which just look alien. You're like a broker would just sell a load of stock to take out a load of long positions and their margins, and then it would take off. So there's centralized tactics involved. And I was like, if I did run a broker, I'd probably end up going down that road, because that's how you make money. That's how a broker makes money. It needs people to lose to make money. And
Which is a sad part.
And that's why I like blockchain, because every order you see on the order book on the decentralized exchange, is real people. These are people that are willing to pay at that price. And in order to get involved in assets, you have to own it. And I like that. So like we don't have spot trading on our native asset right now. If someone wants to sell a load of XDX, it's because they bought it, and they have every right to sell it. But there'll be people who go on brokers. There'll be some huge hedge funds that will want to tank something to then get involved in it. And that market manipulation is why people don't like trading, or why a lot of people give up on it. So yeah, the whole idea of running a broker kind of faded away. But I would put XDX as an ETF, and I would put it on brokers, but I would make sure that there were certain things online. And it's mainly with XD2 where it would be beneficial to anyone that owned it and anyone who would use what we do. Absolutely. And that comes down to use case of assets.
So you're saying that might be in the future?
Yeah, there's no way I'd write it off. No way. I would take it on board. But I know with what we're doing with the hyperchain, we're doing something different on the layer 0. I don't want to go into too much detail on it, but I know it would be beneficial if we went as an ETF. I know it would be. So I would make sure that would be online for that. And that function and feature I'm talking about, no other mainnet asset on the crypto market has done. So yeah, although I don't like them, I would, because in public opinion, the public would want that as well. Even though generally ETFs don't cause the biggest, well, not the biggest bull run initially, but there's usually one that slides in after. Yeah, I would do it, but yeah, just make sure we have things in place.
So my other two nuggets aren't actually crypto related, but they do have an effect on the stock market. And obviously we all know that the stock market has a heavy influence on crypto. So bear with me. The Chinese have just basically announced a 6-month reduction in manufacturing. So in the last 6 months, consecutive reduction in manufacturing. And we all know most things are cheaply made in China. So that says that there is a slowdown globally, which ain't great. The next thing, and obviously chip in at any point if you feel these are rubbish or whatever. The next thing is the Japanese carry trade. I don't know if you know anything about any of this, and I'm only just doing a little bit of sort of low level sort of research into it. But apparently obviously Japanese government they basically borrow so much money, like 200% of their GDP or something. Their interest rates have recently gone up. And with their interest rates going up, what a lot of people have done is borrow money out of Japan, use that money to put in the American stock market, and then prop up a lot of American companies. But they were getting like 5-6% on those sort of returns. Whereas so in Japan, there was no interest rate. So it's zero.
Do you know, the Japanese market, so I used to trade the 225, Nikkei. It used to be one of my favouriteest indices. And it's a bit of a funny one because Japan realistically should have been a failing country for quite a while, and it was just booming.
Yeah.
And I was learning about this, and there's like an ethos of the culture there where many people here in the UK would have the 9 to 5 mentality. I personally do not have that. I have the 24/7, 365 mentality, unfortunately. But it's just the way of the beast. You know, people only work for money. But in Japan, there was a study done, and their culture is they will continue to work until it gets done. And I think that kind of spread through the country, and a lot of business done very well when analytically, there was a time that with debt and that they should have been in a very bad place, but they wasn't. And the 225 was a classic example of that. If anyone goes on the 225 Nikkei, I haven't looked at it for a few years, but there was a time they'd done really, really well, and it was estimated they should be doing really, really bad with their debt. But yeah, I know what you mean. I know where you come from in Japan.
So basically what's happened for a long time, they've had sort of zero interest rates, but suddenly the Bank of Japan have raised the interest rates because they're worried about what the government are up to. So that then reduces the carry trade where all these investors have been investing in the American stock market or whatever, getting their 5%. Suddenly that 5% is no longer looking very profitable.
Watch the Japanese markets, mate, because if there's ever a big move, like
it starts there.
It starts there. Yeah, COVID was an example. I remember watching the Japanese markets tumble at it was like a Sunday night, early hours of Monday morning. Like, holy Jesus, this doesn't look good. Yeah. and then come the Australia and UK markets wake up, and I'm like, oh, we're all doing it, are we? And then the US sort of follows on at the end. But if there's ever a big market move, watch the Asian markets at about 1 a.m. And if they do a big move, it all follows on.
So if you combine the Japanese market and the Chinese reduction in manufacturing and the business about Bitcoin, like I said last week, where the American government were sort of having to sort of the banks were sort of suppressing American companies about Bitcoin, then that all kind of adds up as to why this market is so shit at the minute. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't swear. Oops, sorry about that. You,
Can we
edit that
cut
one
that
out.
from the YouTube channel?
yeah. Bleep that one out. Bleep. But yeah, my last nugget. I'm sorry to bore you with nuggets, but this one's, I'm not sure about this one. But basically, I was reading that in America, live free, you might be able to give me some heads up on this one. But apparently there's a Clarity Act that's about to be passed in the American government, which, if it does get passed, would mean that Ripple have to drop 20 billion onto the market. But they can't do that instantly, can they? Because it's all in escrow. So I don't quite get if that's going to be one that can actually happen or not.
Well, they're still arguing about that bill, so I don't know if it's going to pass or not. And usually they always remove stuff and add stuff. They pork it up. So we'll see what ends up happening and what's the real requirement. Sometimes it's very watered down in order to pass.
Yeah, I still think though that the escrow is the whole point of the escrow is the timed release, isn't it? So they can't just suddenly drop 20 billion. It would have to be as it is anyway, wouldn't it? Dan, do you know anything about that?
I guess they could sell it to the exchanges. They could sell it to the exchanges at a discounted rate. It doesn't affect the market. And then they've got they've got purchases there where the exchanges make a profit. Because
how would they be able to change the escrow though? It's all in escrow.
So unless I've missed some kind of amendments recently, which I don't think I have, you can't change the escrow. So the release is the release of what they get on a regular basis, on a monthly basis. Sorry. I don't know how that would be done.
Well, there you go then, boys. That concludes my nuggets. What nuggets have you got?
Oh, there was
anything?
There were some good nuggets they were, mate. Some good nuggies.
I did do a bit of deep diving, and I'm quite impressed with myself. I actually understood it a little bit.
I noticed that when you brought up nuggets, Rayleen just left the room. She's gone. She ain't coming back. I don't think I have any nuggets.
Magic Mike, have you got any?
Mike might have some.
I mean, go to Live Free's nuggets, which will give me time to muster up my nuggets and get my nuggets out.
Researching on the move. I like it,
I don't know. Live Free, got any nuggets?
Yeah, I have one thing I wanted to mention. I thought it was very interesting read. It doesn't have to do with crypto, but it does have to do with Elon Musk, and his push to get, people to Mars. So, everybody thinks that Mars is, it's very similar, obviously, no atmosphere, no oxygen, stuff like that. Yeah, people knew that. But they didn't really realize, that Mars presents a significant radiation hazard due to its lack of a strong magnetic field and its thin atmosphere, which offer little protection against the galactic cosmic rays, which are the high energy particles from outside of the solar system and the solar energetic particles from the solar flares and the coronal mass ejections. On Earth, the magnetosphere and the thick atmosphere shield us, limiting the average annual radiation exposure to about 2 to 3 millisieverts. In contrast, the average surface radiation on Mars is around 240 to 300 millisieverts per year. So that's roughly 40 to 50 times higher. Just during a round-trip mission with a surface stay, astronauts could accumulate at least 660 millisieverts, which is exceeding NASA's career limits by about 3 times, raising the lifetime cancer risk above the agency's 3% threshold for exposure-induced death. 1 day in interplanetary space en route to Mars equates to a year's worth of Earth's radiation, and on the surface, doses can spike during solar events, partially causing acute radiation sickness if unshielded. The health effects, they're multifaceted. You get chronic exposure increases risks of cancer. You get the DNA damage. You get the cataracts. I don't know if you've ever seen like those movies where the nuclear bomb goes off and people look at the flash, and then like they pan into the movie 30 minutes later, which stands for months in the movie. They all have cataracts, and that's exactly what happens with the extra radiation.
Do you know, I've actually done a course to measure the yield of a nuclear bomb.
I when I was in the military, I was the radiation safety officer for my company, and I had to take all these courses for that stuff.
Did you go through protection factor and thickness of walls and stuff?
We had to do all these calculations and stuff, man. It was over 20 years ago, so I couldn't remember jack about it right now. I would have to really look up
20 years ago, right? I still remember.
Well, but you're still technically in the military. And so you still have to keep up with stuff.
All right.
Does this mean
I don't?
I'll give you that.
Does this mean we're not going to Mars?
Well, what it means is that humans cannot survive beyond 4 years on the surface due to the accumulation dosage crossing the fatal thresholds.
Now, correct me
so
if I'm
if
wrong
you think
here,
that
because the idea of terraforming that planet, he's talking about. So you wouldn't want anyone on it anyway, because he's going to nuke the poles, and that would cause the atmosphere to generate due to ice melting and stuff like that.
Well, I mean, you need to, the first thing you need to do is create an electromagnetic shield. That's the first thing. You may be able to melt enough water because Mars has ice. You may be able to melt enough water and stuff like that, and then that'll create a temporary atmosphere of oxygen, but it's going to be short-lived because you don't have the electromagnetic shield. So somehow you're going to have to juice it up to where it kickstart the magnetic shield again, the Mars protective magnetic shield. Without that, they can do whatever the hell they want. They're not going to be able to maintain an atmosphere. And without that, you're going to die within 4 years if you're a colonizer. So I just thought that was very interesting because, you see all these people, oh yeah, we're going to go, I want to be a Mars colonist. Stuff. It's like, dude, I mean, you're not going to make it past 4 years. So at least not with the current technology. I just thought that was very interesting.
Fair one.
How, I don't know if this has already been said, and if anyone can hear me because it's playing up a bit, but how do you measure the yield, Dan, for a nuclear explosion?
So,
he sticks a little meter outside of the protected tank, and that's
what you do is when one goes off, depending wherever you are, you're supposed to, as the mushroom cloud generates, you measure the height from the ground to the top of the mushroom, and then you measure the distance from where you are to where it's gone off, and then there's a formula that gives you the size of the yield of that explosion. Now, a little tip at the end of this course, they tell you if you can see the mushroom, there's a good chance that you're blind because the light from the explosion from the nuke would have burnt your eyes out anyway. So you do all this course, and at the end they tell you, you'd lose your vision anyway. So you technically can't do it, but you can if you buy behind like protective sort of feature.
Yeah, but this may produce or calculate a yield amount for the explosion, but this doesn't necessarily correlate directly with the amount of radiation.
Well, yeah,
because it all depends. Depends on what was the product
average,
used.
So if a nuclear bomb goes off, if you're within 10 kilometers on average, you're going to be in the immediate blast radius, so you're probably not going to make it. Then you've got up to 17 kilometers where you've got the fallout, the immediate fallout. So if you survive the outblast and then the blast that comes back in, the two, what do they call it? Basically the two waves in and out with the pressure. If you survive that and you're outside 10 kilometers, you need to then move the further 7 kilometers away from it, because then the fallout comes on you, and then you will get heavy radiation sickness, which then which can come in quite quickly, which kills all your white blood cells. And if you're in that position, once all your white blood cells have been destroyed, so you'll start getting really, really sick, and then you'll get to a point where you feel absolutely fine, and it lasts for about 4 minutes. And when you feel fine, that's, or maybe you're with someone, and then all of a sudden they feel fine, but they've got heavy radiation poisoning. At that point, you want to give them a cigar and a glass of whiskey, because they've got about 4 minutes to live, and then they just drop dead.
Yeah.
Anyway, on a brighter
call that the
note, on a brighter note, it's nearly Christmas. This space is recorded. Anything we say is not nuclear advice.
We went down a bit of a rabbit hole there.
Just do this, Palace. Just get under the desk and you'll be fine.
Do you know what?
Yeah.
Palace, you say it's nearly Christmas, but this December, I don't know what it is, and if you guys agree, but it just does not feel like it's coming up to Christmas. I don't know what's happening. There's no sort of Christmas. There's nothing Christmassy in the air. I don't know.
Did you watch the Muppets Christmas Carol today? It was on. Did you watch it?
Look,
Did you?
On point, at least.
Did he watch it? Did you watch it?
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
No, I haven't seen it.
Well, that's why you ain't in the Christmas festivities, are you? You're not feeling the vibes. Well, you got to get out there.
I honestly think it because there's so much going on, isn't there? So much negative stuff going on with the war and all this malarkey and the threat of nuclear, wipeout and all of that malarkey. There's so much rubbish going on, isn't there? Anyway, tonight's Suppose is recorded. You can go to the very beginning and listen to Live Free's Doomday. I don't know what it is with Live Free, but it's always Doom, isn't it? Doom, Live Free.
It's just, I'm just talking about Mars and colonization, man. I don't know why you have to take it as Doom.
Now we can't even escape to Mars.
All I know is to make Mars livable now is we need to do some kind of nuclear explosion, blow the hell out of Mars, and then somehow we'll live on it.
Yeah, Mike, please tell me you got a much upbeat, more happy nugget.
You know what? Mine is actually to do with XRP, alright? So look, Rayleen and all back in.
Oh, that's depressing as hell.
At least though.
Are you ready, guys?
Yeah, go on.
Alright, so in 3 days, I don't know who's aware of this, but in 3 days, apparently there's going to be, they're going to lower interest rates on December the 10th. And there's a lot of people
whose interest rates?
Who's we?
So the Federal Reserve, they're going to lower the interest rates.
Oh, the bloody Yanks again.
Yeah.
The Yanks
and there's rumours in the air, because, let's be honest, in the XRP community, there's never really any rumours in the air, is there? But there's rumours in the air that this is going to put us into a catastrophic, not a catastrophic, sorry, look, that was the doom and gloom.
We're going down the doomsday road again, aren't we? We've just come off it, we're back on track.
I tried to pull it back on and you sucked me back in,
like the mushroom cloud. Yeah, so there's going to be a parabolic bull run, could possibly in the next 3 days.
Parabolic bull run in the next 3 days?
Oh, well, it should actually.
I don't believe that the drop in the interest rate is going to do jack shit. What I do believe though has a better chance of creating some sort of bull run is if they do the $2,000 stipend check to all Americans. That is where I do believe we're going to see some movement.
It happened with the stimulus checks during COVID, didn't it? It was the same time.
Yeah. So I'm hoping that that's going to happen the same, because the stimulus check for the COVID era, that was $1,200. The Trump stimulus check is going to be $2,000. So I'm kind of hoping that is going to, a big percentage of that does go into investment. So we'll see.
I think you're right, Live Free. I think people are brass it. The cost of electricity, the cost of food, the cost of bread. Have you seen a tub of margarine? It's nearly like £5. I mean, really? It's ridiculous.
Well, but hang on, Palace. You're on the march. You don't even eat real butter.
No, it's got to be Kerrygold.
Anchor. Bit of anchor, mate.
Mate, you got to get them real fats in you, mate. Right, get away from that margarine. Right, get off it. Right, get on the real bus.
But my
You
point.
know what? Do it like Mexicans do, man. We use pork lard for cooking beans and the bacon and stuff. That's the best way to do it.
Livery, I'm surprised you don't nuke it, mate. I'm disappointed.
This has been the biggest.
That's only to
This is the
warm up the
biggest
food
introduction
afterwards.
we've ever done. We've got
I know.
we're 37 minutes in, and we ain't even
Yeah.
started yet.
So then, Dan, can you explain to me and the audience what an RWA actually stands for? What is it?
Do you know what, Palace? That is the way I was going to start. I
It's
was
all
going to
very
get
complicated.
you as panelists to say, what do you think an RWA is?
It sounds
Hang
like
on, don't wait there, Palace, because I reckon you would halfway be there. But I'm
really.
pretty sure Mike wouldn't. So I want to
Right.
ask
All right.
Mike. I was going to
Go on,
fire at
Mike.
Mike.
All right.
Now don't Google it.
No,
Put
I'm
your
not
AI
Googling it.
down.
I'm literally right here, right now. I'm
What-
away from my
what-
computer. I wish you could all see.
What do you think an RWA is?
All right. So a real world asset, I feel. Oh, you're just talking about what it stands for?
Yeah.
So give me an example of what they are.
So I would say a real world asset would be, I don't know, so say for example, if you've tokenized gold, the real world asset equivalent to that would be a gold bar. So it's just the equivalent of, so it's whatever's tokenized, but the actual physical equivalent. So if you've tokenized the house, then the real world asset will be the house, but you've got a tokenized representation of that on the blockchain as a DNFT.
Yeah. So there has been, over the past few years, RWAs was floating around on many chains as the next best thing. Now, where it went a little bit wrong, and I was actually talking to someone about this recently in one of our labs, and he said the same thing. He said RWAs, the problem is some jumped the gun too much, broadcasting they were doing RWAs, but they didn't really know exactly how to do it. So RWAs, you've got traditional priceless artwork, commodities, which you brought up earlier. You could go into jewelry as well as commodities, areas of fashion. It's basically, near enough anything that's physical, which holds an element of value. You could even say your car is an RWA, if you was to sort of scan it and get it on chain. Now, where do we have an advantage with this? An RWA, if you're going to put it on chain, you're going to need a representation of what that physical object is, near enough exactly on chain. We're one of the few, with the NFT exchange Fusion.xio we're one of the few exchanges that have the capability for 3D files. So FBX and GLB. This puts us in a very unique position going forward relating to this. It means that we can use our team to go around and scan, and I mean digitally scan objects accurately down to 0.001 mil, pull that representation of that physical object and convert it into a file type, and then issue it on chain. Now that's only sort of part of the way there. Now, where a lot of things went wrong on other chains, their RWAs, they did not replicate physical object. Instead, what they've done is they just done a token that said, it's like having an NFT of a picture of a house. Oh, yeah, this is the RWA for this condor, this mansion, this that, and it didn't really work. So recently I got a phone call. I say recently, it was actually yesterday or the day before yesterday. I got a phone call from a gallery in London, who reached out and said they were looking for assistance in getting their traditional artwork on chain as RWAs, but they didn't know how to do it. And they'd heard that we was doing some things down that road, and they were curious to see if we could assist. So I took the call myself, spoke to him, spoke to a very nice guy called Joel, who knew exactly what I was talking about. Now, rewind from this phone call over the past year, I've actually been visiting galleries and some museums, through the year. I've probably visited about 30, 40 galleries, art galleries, and a couple of museums, asking them, are you interested in tokenizing the content you have in your gallery, museum, and getting it on chain? You don't actually have to sell it, but are you interested in getting it on chain? And about 60% didn't have a bloody clue what I was talking about. The other sort of 20 to 30% took in what I said, but the minute I said the word crypto, NFTs and blockchain, there was a very negative view on it. So I didn't have much success. And one of our biggest grips was when we went to Manchester. We went to every single gallery in Manchester, and we was going to do a run around London. I visited some in London, but I didn't do a whole day run around. And one of the galleries that I was meant to go to, they didn't get back to me for an appointment. And it was one of them that actually contacted me. And they said, oh, we was actually meant to meet you about a year ago. Sorry, we didn't get back to you. And they said, what was it that you wanted to speak to us about? I said, well, funnily enough, what you're saying is what I was, coming to offer. But yeah, I spoke to this guy, and he knew exactly what I was talking about. So when I explained about, duplicating the real world asset, duplicating the physical item and then putting it on chain, he knew exactly what I was talking about. So they've clearly already explored it. They couldn't find a company that could actually support it. And then down the road, I think he'd stumbled on us after I tried to stumble on them, and they're very interested in it. And it was quite enlightening, and a little bit incentivizing to hear that there are that at least there's one art gallery in London that's reached out going, we want to do this. We don't know what we're doing. It's like, don't worry, because we know exactly what we're doing and we've got the tech to help you out. Now, he didn't know we were so far ahead with back-end sort of blockchain tech on the XRPL. He didn't know we was anywhere near to what I explained to him. So I said to him, we can scan your artwork. We can issue it for you. We can do it, on location with you in your own self-custody wallet related to your gallery. We can do all that right there and then. And then from there, you can sell it in any currency on the XRP Ledger. And he was absolutely blown away by that because it didn't make sense to him. He was like, I thought you would only be able to sell it in one currency. I said, oh no, there's 60,000 plus assets on this network, and you can sell that. You could sell this item in whichever currency you want and take in offers in multiple currencies at the same time. Now that really got their attention. So it told me one or two things, I guess. It told me, one, they're not just looking to get on chain, but two, they're looking to increase sales. And it might relate a little bit to what Palace was talking about with the Nuggets earlier, with sort of the financial crisis. So that squeeze may be driving people to look for new ways to make money or to utilize technology. So yeah, I told them about the multi-currency capability. I said we can get your assets in 3D viewable, which he was amazed by. He thought it would just be a photograph. I said, oh no, we'll scan it and we can get it on as a full 3D image that people will be able to rotate, zoom in, and inspect. And then I said, on top of that, you'll be able to view it in augmented reality, which he had no idea was even possible. So a few of them along the way, he was absolutely blown away. Go on, Palace.
I'll just interrupt you very briefly, Dan. I was just going to suggest if they wanted any real sort of inspiration, they could go to my profile and they could see some of my amazing photographs and my amazing NFT artwork that's obviously on my profile. Very good prices and very very well done. I don't say so myself, really. So, if they want to contact me and put my work on display, we can talk about that if that's something they might think about.
Oh, very good. Yeah, I will make sure to pass on your details, mate. I will make sure to pass on your details. Oh, you're coming to the demonstration, to the meeting, aren't you?
Hell yeah!
Damn right. I knew you'd be in because I messaged
I'll be there
the team.
after.
Yeah, you come on the backlog, mate. You come at the after.
I'll come when everyone's sinking a pint.
Yeah. So I messaged the team at DPMF Labs on the Hive. I said to Wes, I called Wes up because I wanted Wes to come along because he's obviously only in Manchester, and I know he likes to have we've been meaning to meet up in London anyway. So there's about 5, 6 of us that are going to be down there for the demonstration. So we're going to be down there with a 3D scanner. We'll go down there with a few laptops, and we can get a 3D object online and issued on the XRPL, in like a matter of minutes. We've just got to make sure we tailored exactly how that happens, because it is, even though we know how to do it, it's actually the first time we're doing it to a live client, and it opens the door. So if we get this right, and I have every faith we will, mainly because they came to us, not because we reached to them. But if we get this right and we get all their gallery as an RWA, especially on Fusion, and they're attracted to the all currency trade and the way it's viewed in AR, because we'll be marketing the exchange in their, in galleries as well, because they're going to need QR codes to scan in, to look at it in 3D, to look at it in AR, which our platform does. So we're going to be heavily marketing on that way to a lot of people interested in art. But if we get this right, I can see a wave coming where there's going to be an art gallery that's going, hey, have you heard what these guys are doing? We should jump on that. And he did say to me, how many sales have you had through the year? And I said, well, actually, so there's a lot of NFT exchanges that have bot trades, and we don't do that. And he goes, I'm absolutely aware of that, because we're trying to avoid that. I said, we're actually organic. We're completely organic. And he said, how long is how long has Fusion, the beta been on? And I think, was it August last year, if I remember? I think it was August last year we've been on. And I said within there, we've had about 23,000 trades on there, all organic. There's no automatic bot trades. Obviously, we've had tests, but we don't. When we test on mainnet, we actually test to like 1 to 10. We don't test to the thousands. And he said that's very interesting to me. But he's aware of other exchanges as well. He's aware of automatic trading and bot trading, and it's something they want to avoid, which I thought was quite good. So yeah, we're going to have that meeting. We'll do that demonstration. And probably I would estimate sometime over next year, if it goes ahead, we'll do their gallery. And I think if we do it very well, we will get more galleries in London on board as well, and start, because we have an opportunity to pull them into the XRPL. Not to sound tribal. I'm not I know you guys know I'm not a tribalistic guy. But we have an opportunity where, we have the technology to support what they want to achieve, and we actually go beyond it a little bit. We've got some upgrades to do on Fusion. We've got the all currency minting, which we just finished the final testing a few hours ago, but we've got the AR tech coming on as well, which is a massive one. To have every 3D file viewed in augmented reality is huge. And that's for everyone who uses it. It's not just us, but it's for everyone who's on the platform, who owns one, will be able to see an AR. And that's the kind of stuff they're looking for real world assets, to have that duplication, that twin. Sorry, you're going to say something. I can hear you breathing.
Yeah, I was just going to say, sorry, mate. Was I breathing that heavily? Oh, wow.
Yeah,
okay.
you're like, he's coming in.
Well, honestly, I'm in the gym. No, I'm not really. But, we've got comments in the comments box. Just doing a mic check, really. Can everyone hear us all right? Can you put your thumbs up if you can hear us all right? 1 thumb. 2 thumbs, 3 thumbs. Yeah, sounds like we're all good. So yeah, apologies if you're rugging a little bit. Is it Fissy? Fissy seems to be having problems. I thought it might be Livery's end, but hey, it usually is. No problem. Don't worry. Sorry Dan to interrupt your flow. Carry on, mate.
I wanted to go ahead and jump in very fast. I can't imagine being able to see the paintings or artwork in augmented reality and say, you know what, how would this look in my house? And you just put your phone up, and I guess point it to where you want how the picture would look inside your house. I'm assuming that's the way it's going to look.
Yeah. So the AR tech, we had a slight issue with iOS, which anyone has or would be aware of if they try and get on the App Store. The problem we had with iOS was they centralize and lock down a certain library, which relates to us being able to view on iPhone in AR. We have to do a certain configuration. So that actually slowed us down. But the way it would work is, say you're sitting in your house at a dinner table or at a coffee table or even at the floor, you'd simply scan an area of your floor and then you would bring up the AR item in question, expand it, and then you would look at it through your digital device. So you can literally view it anywhere with a handheld device and then look at it in close inspection as well.
And that digital device could be attached to an NFT screen or a projector, and you could put it on the wall.
So there's a number of, if you're related to AR tech, then, you know, in the future with the AR glasses and all that are coming, then you would be able to see it on your own wall. That kind of stuff is coming. But if you were just wanted a picture of it, because you could have a JPEG PNG file, then you could just put it in a digital frame and then just hang it on the wall, you know. The whole point of AR is that you can view the exact item because it's scanned. You can view the exact item as it is anywhere in the world within your own home through Fusion. And viewing it that way, the way it's tradable as well. So you can view it, but then if you own it, you can trade it globally as well. So the NFT can be traded around the world, but in the art gallery, you're down as the owner. And then the gallery, you can decide, do you want to hold it with the gallery or do you want the art piece sent to you? And like in the gallery, you could be down as the owner, you know, and through Fusion, you'd be able to communicate with the buyers about that. So it really allows the object to be digitally viewed anywhere in the world. It is the big one. It's not just through a screen. It is through augmented reality as well. And then later there'll be XR, MR realities come in, and that'll be the same kind of thing. I don't hear any breathing. Shall I keep talking?
Well,
I was listening for a breath.
I was just having a little sip of my Baileys. You caught me off guard.
Let me elaborate a little bit, because the RWA market was something I'd always had in the back of my mind, and was something we would always lean on, because having it at the NFT exchange, we would always go down that road somewhere. But it's bigger than that. It's not just artwork. You know, it is, like we said earlier, having a gold bullion, you know, to be able to scan it, and then issue it. It can be anything. It can be your car, it can be anything, but it's the criteria to get it on. And there is a puzzle piece missing I haven't shared here yet, and you'll see in the infogram above on the Jumbotron, the 4 points, that go into, the creation of it, where you go from scanning the item and then uploading the NFT on Fusion. We've covered that, but there's a missing puzzle piece here. And for a few months, I've been in contact with a company in London that do chips related to them chips connecting to NFTs, and they are a real key into this succeeding, because we need their tech. They're already in place. They're already up and running, and they will simply put a chip on physical artwork, one that you cannot remove, and if you do remove, the chip becomes obsolete. It's not authorized anymore. And that chip will relate to the NFT on Ledger. So whenever you're sent an item, as long as this chip is attached, you know, in the correct place, then you own the actual official, the real world asset. You own the item. And that's a missing puzzle piece which we didn't have. And I was fortunate enough to bump into them, for a friend, a few months ago, and they were telling me that they were doing this. And I was like, funnily enough, you know, I'm doing all this stuff with this NFT exchange. I'll have to keep in touch with you about what you're doing and what we're doing. And I actually invited them to the gallery demonstration this month. But both of the founders are in New York for a launch, so they can't be there. So I'll speak on their behalf. But that's a key element I haven't shared here yet. You have to have something attached to the physical item that really gives that authenticity, that authorization, that value, that you hold the real artwork, whether it's a statue or a painting, and they'll be involved with us going forward. So that's a key factor I didn't mention earlier.
So I actually went into a gallery in Brighton actually and said pretty much the same spiel that you just said, and he was really interested and he took all your details. So he might be in contact with you at some point as well. There's a little gallery in Brighton. It's really quite funky, quite good, really sort of modern sort of art, sort of graffiti sort of stuff.
We're going to see more of this. Now, art galleries were always going to be first because we had the NFT markets kick off a few years ago. Now, for those that don't know, NFTs aren't just artwork. It's just they were the first type of NFT. For anyone who's known us for a few years would know that we look at NFTs more in the game side or game finance side. That's where we're going with them as a company. But at the moment, to the general public, people only look at NFTs as artwork. So galleries are always the next natural progression in connecting to the traditional world. And this opportunity we have, whether it's, we get on board with this gallery, which I think is highly likely even now. I think they'll want to get on board, and that will come down to us. And I know a few of the panel here will be there when we do that, and it'll be good to talk about it after. We'll take photographs and do some videos of how we do it, and we'll share that online. But then it's going to go to another step. What about classic car showrooms, and certain things alike, and then you start really connecting the real world to the digital world. Then you start really bringing cryptocurrency and digital assets in, getting involved in what's going on in the real world on a global scale. And I think it's going to be a success. I think it'll be a big success. And we're very fortunate that because of the tech we've done over the past year relating to 3D NFTs, we have enough in place where us getting involved with real world assets makes it very attractive.
Could you put movies on Fusion? Could you do a movie as an NFT?
You can, yeah. If Wes was here, one of our researchers, if he could be bothered his little butt to come on, I don't know where he is, but yes, he actually done a movie as an NFT. Yes, you can do movies as NFTs. One weakness we have on this network is you can't fractionalize the NFT, but you can do that on the Ethereum network, where you're able to buy a piece of that NFT and not own, obviously, the whole thing. And I think that's one of the big upgrades you're going to see come later, fractionalizing NFTs so you own a piece of it. And that would be good for movies.
Well, but I mean, couldn't you just bypass by creating 10 NFTs and each NFT would be 10% of that item?
Yeah, you can absolutely do that. Yeah. Like you're right. You're not wrong at all. But then you're not owning a piece of the original one. You've got a copy. So it's, under public perception, which would you rather have?
I mean,
Well,
it is endless, though, isn't it? This could go into so many different industries.
Well, so we've got Chris in the merch lab, so he's involved in doing the scanning. I'm sending him a scanner in about 48 hours. He'll have a scanner he's going to test with, and we've joked about. We talk about scanning mugs, t-shirts, and stuff like that. Merchandise. To practice with traditional artwork, etc.
Don't say merchandise in front of Palace, man. Don't do that.
Merch.
But going forward, what's to stop you scanning a person? What's to stop him scanning me as a 3D character, and then with that file we can rig it, add a skeleton, make it moving, and then put it into someone's free ecosystem. Although it's not a real world asset, we are using the scanner and the file to do some funny things like that.
I mean, all it takes is something really like one really sort of famous, well-known sort of bit of art to go on Fusion or something like that, and it would absolutely take off then, wouldn't it? That's what.
Well, we've got. I know we spoke publicly, so we have the contract for Reg Park. The Reg Park NFT, for anyone who doesn't know who that is, he was a famous bodybuilder and Hollywood movie star in the 1960s, and that did give us the connection to Arnold Schwarzenegger. So we qualify to launch an NFT on his behalf, but we need to do it through Christie's auction house, which has been very slow in order for us to get that on, which is a massive project all by itself. But what this does mean, and I spoke to the team about this, where it's going to take some time, but I think with Fusion, I want to make sure that we still maintain the capability for digital artists to, sort of go to that place and it be their go-to place. Cause I know there's some artists who mint and create on there every day. But also apply us being quite an institutional exchange in the future. And to get there, we have to do a lot of back end development, and which is what we're doing now. But going forward, I think that's the road we're going to go down. And if we don't go on Christie's sort of over the next few years, then we'll have a meeting and have a conversation about launching on Fusion. I've got actually permission to launch Reg Park on Fusion. I've got it in writing in the contract. But I don't have the Arnold one. And if I can get Fusion into a highly technical NFT exchange where it's got so many features and functions connected to the DEX, etc., where it's just the go-to place where everyone goes and puts their NFTs. If I get it there, and it's going to take technological advancements and developments on our side, which we focus on every day. But if I get it there, and I get it to be the go-to place in sort of the XRPL, maybe the crypto space connecting with other chains, then it's likely we could go down that route and use Fusion instead. But that's going to take time, and that's going to take developments, because we've got a whole roadmap going all the way up to 2026. I can tell you is booked. There's no space for anything new going in. But that may be a route we'll go, and we can have that as a secondary as we move forward. If Christie's don't come forward and allow us to launch that program, they'll be like, well, we'll do it on this one then. And I think with what we're doing with technology will be attractive, over time. Because anyone who's been on Fusion will know our exchange is completely different to any other NFT exchange. Completely bloody different. And I know, Mike, he said the other week, when you actually look at the features and functions and all the different currencies that can be used, we utilize more currencies than anyone on this network, which was always the plan, to have an arm, a supportive arm as an NFT exchange where people can go to. And with this RWA stuff coming forward, we've now got a door where we can really exploit ourselves to the traditional art world. And we've got a bit of work to do to get there. Fusion is a massive beta. It really is. It's a massive beta while we develop on it. People can use it on live mainnet now, and people do use it, and people do buy and sell NFTs on there. But we need to go bigger. No doubt there. And this opportunity with these RWAs, with this art gallery in central London, just fell in our lap. So we need to make sure that we execute that to a high standard, make sure that we provide a supportive role to what they want to achieve. It's no bullshit. You don't go down there and just tell them we're the best at everything. We listen to what it is they need, and we say, yeah, we can do this, we can do this. Is this what you require? If they give it the thumbs up, or they say, yeah, we need some tinkering here and there, then we'll tailor it that way. And we'll start expanding like that going forward. It'd be good. But the RWA market, us going to do this, and I think we'll get it, came in a bit sooner than I would have estimated. I would have targeted sort of next year, but if there's an opportunity here to start now, then we'll grab the bull by the horns and we'll take it.
So if you've tuning into our show for the first time and you don't know anything about Fusion, please go to our website. Please go to the Fusion NFT platform. You'll see what we're talking about. It's very nice. It's very easy. It's easy to mint. It's easy to use. And it's very cheap. You can use any asset apparently very soon. So this show is recorded. Please, go to our YouTube channel and you can see our other shows. Please share this space. Please like, please subscribe. It helps us. It helps us grow. So we'd like to reach out to as a wider audience as possible. And with your help, we'll do that. So, also, if you have one XIO, you will also get a weekly drop of XDX, which is really nice. Everyone likes a free drop. XDX is a nice little cryptocurrency you can use to purchase your NFTs and do all sorts of different things. Hopefully buy merch at some point. Hey, Dan.
Do you know, I'm actually going to, if the art gallery come on board, I'm actually going to use some of my holdings of XDX to buy some real world art. And I'm going to get an article put out about it.
Too right.
Yeah.
Nice. I like that idea. That's
I
good.
will, yeah. It'll have to be one I can definitely sell off though after. It definitely has to be a trade-off to me. But no, I'll look at some artwork. There is a market in the art world. I was looking at some traditional platforms earlier and looking at cause Fusion's currently a V1 beta. It's going to upgrade. There's like a huge change on the homepage, etc. And to do that, I want to make sure we get it right. And I want to compliment anyone who's interested in NFTs. Now that is a really tough challenge because you've got the different genres of NFTs. You've got artwork, you've got GameFi, you've got RWAs, utility, 3D NFTs, blah, 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 blah. Whatever it is, there is a genre. And because arguably we're one of the most advanced exchanges currently in the world. I think when this next feature comes on, because of the capability we have, we could technically be one of the most advanced exchanges in the world. And no one really knows we exist. And on top of that, there's no NFT exchange that can beat the amount of assets that we trade. We're 60,000 plus on the XRPL. We complement every single asset. There isn't another NFT exchange that does that. Usually they do the native asset of the network, but we've applied supportive roles for everyone. So we technologically we're going in the right direction, and I guess in a way it's starting to get noticed a little bit for whatever reason. Just a sprinkle here and there. But I want to make sure once we grab that bull by the horns and get that traction, that we really go for it. Because a lot of developments we have after this are not that hard. We've done the hardest developments over the past year and a bit with Fusion. We merged two platforms together, which is heard of as being impossible. And we've done that. We actually merged assets together as well on the ledger using the passive flag. We're the only ones to do it successfully on the network. And some people don't understand that. They don't understand the sort of the formulas and the mathematical pain you go through, the coding. It can be challenging, but we have all these mini successes. We're the first NFT exchange to sell an NFT in RWA'S, and that's on the ledger. We're the first NFT exchange to do it because we already had the capability when RWA'S went online. So we got all these, and that is an achievement, and you can argue it's something to be proud of, but that's not the main goal. That's not where we're just going. Grabbing this RWA stuff by the horns, doing it right, make sure we get, this art gallery on side, showing we mean business, and this is what we want to achieve. And they might say no. They might say, yeah, it's great. We don't know if it's going to work for us. We're not interested. And say, okay, we'll hold our head up high and say, we learned a lot from that. We'll analyze how that went. What could we do to improve? How can we make it more attractive? Let's wait for the next one. Or not wait for it, but let's go and catch the next one. Because it's a challenging market, and it's very hard to get traditional business involved in crypto. The minute you say the word crypto, NFTs, RWAs even, it becomes quite a challenge, but we'll see.
Did you tell them about the virtual platform as well, the Zion?
I didn't actually know, but I'll do it on the demonstration.
Cool. Magic Mike and Live Free, have you got any questions?
I just wanted to ask a bit more about the demonstration, Dan. So you're going to get there to London. So is it in? So is this is a behind the scenes demonstration, isn't it? So just to is it to the staff of the?
Yeah. So we're with the founder of the gallery. We've got a load of the team there. Hopefully they've got enough room for us all to be there, and we'll do it.
Oh man, it sounds really exciting, to be honest. I'm just annoyed that I can't be there for that part of it, because I would have liked to have been there for that part. But
take a sick.
Oh no!
Recording space.
No,
this is a moment in history.
I've already had some sick. I've exhausted all my options.
So we don't. The thing is, we don't want to play it too much where we reach out to them and say, right, would you be able to prepare a 3D sculpture for us? We would like they don't actually know we're going to do this demonstration. They know we're coming down to do something. They've invited us in for a conversation, so we're taking the tech with us and we're going to do it. But we're not going to play it where we set it up, where we're like, could you just prepare this, prepare that? Instead, we're going to say, this is what we can do. We want to show you. You know, have you got something laying around we could use, or we use that Coke can or that coffee mug? I'm going to show you exactly how this works and show them how quick it is. Get it on chain, explain how it works with the chip, and we'll be done in a few minutes. And in fact, when you see, so Chris, I was on a call with him this morning about the scanning and stuff. He was saying that when you're actually scanning it and you see it all come off on the computer, he said it actually looks amazing because it picks up all the detail as you go around it. He says it's just impressive. It's incredibly impressive. So I have no doubt that we will walk away. What is it next week? I have no doubt when we walk away next week, they will be impressed. They will be impressed with technology, and that's the kind of reputation I want us to have. Yeah, we're professional, and we really open some eyes, and I think we'll leave that residue with them. It will reside with them.
I love the fact that they don't know that you're taking the scanner and stuff as well, and that.
Well, if they hear this space, they will. I mean, they might listen to it. I don't know. So it's true.
Raylene, you've got a lot of editing to do, Raylene.
So I was gonna say actually, Dan, you want to video the whole process,
yeah,
and then you can
we're gonna.
So
so that's one of the reasons I wanted to invite Wes, so we could get his Huawei phone. I've got a car. I've got a Ford. I don't know if anyone knows much about cars, but I've got a Ford Torino Custom. If anyone doesn't know what that is, feel free to Google it. It's a 8-seater van, if you like. It's massive. I've got the luxury version. So it's got like a panoramic sunroof. It's a beautiful car. It's massive though. It's huge. And I'll be taking that down to London. I'll be going to pick up Chris, and I'll get all the kit and equipment we need in the back of there, no issue. And I'll be picking up a few people along the way as we go down. So we'll have all the kit with us, no drama, driving right up to the gallery, ready to show off, what we have technologically. It's very exciting. It's the first time we're doing it in this level. Most of the times I've visited galleries for meetings, it's been me talking about what is possible, and that's generally because most don't have an understanding of it. But these guys, they know exactly what they want, and when the two of us were communicating, it's just so fluid. There's definitely going to be something come from this. I have no doubt, really. It might not, but I actually would bet that this is going to go positive.
I mean, it's just so organic. The whole thing. That's the thing. It's the way it's sitting with me is it's just so organic because, like DPMF have been pioneering all this tech for so long and building it, and it's all been building to this moment. So this is like, it's fantastic, man.
It is. I mean, at the moment, believe me, it's not our primary. But when an opportunity comes in like this, it's like I said earlier, grab the bull by the horns and let's go. And if it does take off, I do see a lot of other galleries in central London being interested very quickly. Definitely. Because what we've done is we've just added a layer of infrastructure of trade on top of their already existing traditional infrastructure. So they can still sell, offer, and do bids on artwork as they would do normally. But then they've got this additional layer which we offer. And whenever galleries start catching wind of this, they're going to want to jump on board quite quick. So I'll be having a chat with Chris over the coming week about we might have to hire teams to go round, if it comes to it. And I've seen this happen before. We had it with the Metamart in China. When we started digital design, first year we done it privately. We just reached out to people privately asking if they needed any work done. But then when word got around how efficient we were, because we were quite cheap as well, we actually got a massive overload of work, like a wave just came in. And I imagine that could happen. And do you know what? If I'm honest with you, I want it to happen because I want that integration with digital assets and blockchain technology and the traditional world. And this is just a stepping stone in that direction. And RWAs, especially in galleries, they can be priceless. Now, I was looking at a piece of art today. It was worth, I think it was $206 million, something like that. And that's not an RWA, but it's definitely something I've got in my sights that I would speak to and say, look, would you like to, get this on chain? But that would be something in the future. So what we have now is a stepping stone in the right direction. And I think we're going to do well out of it. And we're going to portray RWAs in a really, really effective way because we've got the 3D technology in place. We'll have the AR tech in place. And that, I think, is what galleries need as a stepping stone to become RWAs. I think that's exactly what they need. They need that technology, that innovation. Because you know what the stepping stone is after that? It's actually holograms. Which we spoke to, is it Digital Palm? Is that right, Livery? Digital Palm, we spoke to, they're looking at doing, something similar like that. And in fact, now I think I've said it, I think we said it privately and I probably shouldn't have brought it up, but, that's something as well in the future. And, all this kind of innovation, that's what's going to be attractive, in traditional finance with galleries. They're going to want to enhance. So we have enough in place to do that. So let's do it.
All sounds very interesting.
I was going to say, there's no heavy breathing. Shall I keep talking?
I had my mic off. I was giving you the freedom of the room to express and to explore all these innovative ideas. It's very good. It's very good. It's very interesting. I can't wait to see the gallery. Actually, I'm looking forward to that. It's nice to see.
Well, you're going to be there. We'll meet at 10:00 near Farringdon. We'll meet. I'll pick a location. I'll have me and Chris and potentially Wes in the car with the kit. So I might drive around and pick people up nearby. And we'll do this.
Love it.
And I wanted the guys who do the podcasts to come down because I wanted you guys to be there because most of the time we do stuff, it's generally me talking about it. So when there's an opportunity to bring in some of the team, you sort of talk about what we do, you can say you was there.
You haven't told them about our podcast, have you?
Hey, have we got one?
Yeah. No, you haven't. You haven't told them to listen to the YouTube channel. Have
we got a YouTube?
Yeah, tell them we got YouTube. Yeah, you should tell them.
While on topic, Rayleen, hats off. Really good YouTube channel. Do really well with it. Hats off to you, sweetheart. Really, really good.
Yeah, you're doing a sterling job, Rayleen, as ever. Right, well, what have we done? 1 hour and 19 minutes. Do we feel like we need to cover anything else, or are we done?
I'm just thinking, is there anything beyond? The one thing I would say is, I think I mentioned it earlier, is RWAs haven't been issued on chains correctly. I think that's why they haven't taken off, and that simply comes down to it's not. I wouldn't say it was deliberate. I think it's just the technology at the time wasn't there. We're fortunate enough to have enough in place to do it. But from what I can tell across the board, when RWAs have been involved, they've almost kind of flopped. It's like, it didn't work out. Now, because we have a bit of extra innovation related to blockchain technology, because augmented reality is not blockchain technology. Looking at 3D files is not blockchain technology. But because we have that in place, that visual attraction, that's a stepping stone in the right direction of where things can change, to be able to inspect that RWA, to actually look at it in detail. And that attraction with the real world, because when we put them out, when we issue them on chain, we will be going around the gallery. We'll leave QR codes, link to our platform pointing to the NFT details page, so people will be able to see it in 3D. And to have it globally traded with any currency as well. There's no other NFT exchanges that have that capability that got involved with RWAs. I think that's I think that's why it flopped a little bit. So we could really spearhead it. We could spearhead it. And that's what I'm aiming to do anyway. Aiming to do it to the best of my ability, spearhead it. And I think with that, the way we do RWAs and issue on chains, on chain, that will be the attractive side. And we'll just do one at a time, step by step, and grow from it that way. And I actually have faith it's going to work. I have complete faith. I wouldn't have done this, this X Spaces, thrown it out, so quickly if I didn't have faith it was going to work. I have every faith it will.
Yeah, I think it's the natural transition. Has anyone in the audience got a question for Dan and RWAs? Do you know what? We're missing Wes a little bit here tonight. I mean, he would have broken in with some sort of weird comment.
Why didn't he come in this evening?
I
haven't heard from him.
I've not heard from him. Perhaps the Isle of Wight is all going down.
I spoke to him on the phone 2 days ago. He said to me, he would come down. He said to London. I'm going to look at getting an apartment that night, Palace. Are you doing an overnight, or are you going to?
Well, I've got to get back for the next day. But I'll see how we go.
Listen, if you're going to pussy it, it's okay. I'm just saying. I know Mike's on board because he don't work Saturday.
Oh, you're a real army boy, you are, aren't you? Eh? Real peer pressure army boy.
Well, because I'm going to drive the car, so. And I was kind of hoping the guys from the kind of guys we're working with for the chips, I was hoping them two would come down, but unfortunately they're in New York. But I thought, we could go and visit the Sky Garden, go and visit the Shard, travel around it. Because if we're not staying overnight, I won't drink because I'll have to drive the vehicle with the kit and equipment back. But I can lock it down in an apartment, I know, just off South Central, so it's all secure.
Well, we'll have a chat about that. But yeah, it sounds good. Sounds good.
We're having a chat about it now. Why can't I peer pressure you into it now? On this recorded space.
Yeah, that's added pressure, isn't it?
I know Chris is considering staying down. He's going to see what he's doing Saturday. Wes will probably stay down because he's got to go back to Manchester. So, yeah.
Everybody, thank you for coming out tonight. Thank you for listening to all about RWAs. Now you'll know what it all means. As ever, this show is brought to you by Fusion XIO, the sickest and the baddest place to mint and sell your NFTs. Go and check it out. And thank you again, everybody, for spending your Sunday night with our delightful souls. Take care. Have a good one. Good night.